Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video, we're on my viewer's account from the VN server and we're going to be making a guide on how to use your Slumber Essence. What are going to be the priority heroes for you to be upgrading? Because I think my viewer has done a very good job and this will be a good demonstration at a mid-spender or even free-to-play level what you want to be targeting. So he he's done well. Frieren is the #1 hero for EX level enhancement because she is the one of the best hyper carries in the game right now and very flexible, can work in a bunch of different teams, like whether you run her with Wilders, Graveborn, Hypogean Celestial. The options are basically limitless, and by refining her EX level you are going to get some big bonuses. The mage effect is going to boost damage after the initial ultimate cast, and then also the level 4 is going to be really nice stat distribution, crit and crit damage boost, allowing Frieren to almost 100% crit onto enemies who are non-tanks, and also have that crit damage boost. So this is why Frieren is one of the major priorities. Basically, everyone can refine her if you have her at a higher Paragon upgrade level. This is always going to be one of the best choices. Now, after this, you're going to notice here, out of all the heroes he has, he's only refined these 6 heroes, the 5 on top and Ravion. And it's very interesting because basically he's only chosen damage dealers to be refined. And that is actually going to be the best strategy because you're going to get the most value by refining your damage dealers. If you guys don't know, the enhancement refining effect is going to boost the damage you deal. It also has damage reduction, but of course it gives damage boost as well. And that is going to be most valuable onto your hyper carries, your damage dealers who are you're using in your teams. And also they do unlock a class specific skill when you upgrade them even to level 2. Like for example, the warrior class is going to reduce damage taken for the first 20 seconds, and that is really good for Perseus's survival. So this is why really prioritizing your damage dealers that you have upgraded, that you're running in your Supreme Arena lineups, basically, those are going to be the priority. Now comes another interesting point. For example, Solise. Now my viewer doesn't have Solise upgraded in Paragon. If he had Solise Paragon 2 or above, I do also recommend taking Solise to that level 2 level of enhancement. Now, the reason for that is the support class gets overall a pretty nice class upgrade. Basically, it is a burst of healing and shielding onto an ally when they drop below 40% health. However, from my testing, maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you have some more insight. From my testing, it seems it only applies one time per battle onto one ally. It's not like applying onto every individual ally. Like, so basically, you're only going to get one proc of this onto one ally who drops first. That's at least from what I've seen. Maybe I need to test it some more. It's really difficult to actually tell because it's not exactly worded here, but yeah, so it isn't maybe as impactful as you would think, but it's still pretty nice. And the other advantage of getting them to the level 2 is gonna give them, for example, Solise. She also has pretty decent damage output. If you're able for her to cast her ultimate, you guys probably have seen that she deals pretty nice damage with her ultimate, and then giving her the damage reduction as well that you get from the rivalry stats and energy regen to allow her to get her ultimate off faster. There's value there. However, really what I would have to say from more testing and also more understanding is the supports and really even tanks and all of these other heroes, accessories for your teams are not as important to refine as your damage dealers. So that's why I think my viewer's done a good job focusing all of his resources basically on his damage dealers. He only has 100 Slumber Essence left basically, so he's almost used it all and is all funneled into these damage dealers. Now, other good choices here are Lily May, and he's actually gone all in on Lily May all the way to level 4. I was not sure if this was the right play. However, other people have also told me, and also like when you don't have maybe all the Hypogean Celestials and things like that built up, Lily May, especially with Ravion, can actually be the major damage contributor on your team with her rainstorm ballet right from the beginning of the match. And I've seen that because we did have a Supreme Arena replay I just took a look at for my viewer because I wanted to see how are these these enhancements holding up for him, and they're doing pretty well. He's basically top 20 Supreme Arena. You're gonna see over here that his Lily May actually did the most damage in this team comp, which is crazy. Like, this is honestly really good and really impressive, and it was I was even out damaging Perseus. So I was like, you know what? He may be onto something, upgrading Lily May all the way even to level 4. But definitely also level 2 is a nice point for Lily May because that's going to give her the penetration haste buff for the initial 5 seconds. Now, we don't know for sure if this will qualify and give her a growth stack, like, other, artifact buffs and other temporary buffs on your team. But even if it doesn't, it's just a nice offensive stat. And when you get assist or defeat, it's going to refresh. And if you take it all the way to level 4, you get the crit and execution, which is also really nice stat distribution. And so, Lily May, honestly, really solid hero to be upgrading. The other hero here we have is Shemira. Now, a lot of people, if you're a long-term player, you'll have Shemira Paragon upgraded, maybe even Paragon 4 and Crown, like my viewer over here. And upgrading her, again, you're going to use her as an ultimate based nuker for your comps, your PvP comps, and this is going to boost your damage after that initial ultimate cast, which is useful. He hasn't taken her all the way to level 4, number 1 because he's limited on resources, and level 4 definitely, it does give more offensive stats, 18 crit and 12 haste. Haste would allow her to cycle her cooldowns a little bit more frequently, and that crit is decent, but overall, I'm not completely, like, for example, comparing it to Frieren, which has 20 crit and 30 crit damage boost, I think that is way better for an ultimate based nuker, and this is kind of the unfortunate thing. You don't have a control over how to allocate these stats. It's just the game basically tells you, this is what you get at level 4, take it or leave it, basically. And honestly, I would prefer maybe to leave it for Shemira, but Frieren, I think, is the best combination, honestly, for a mage ultimate nuker. So yeah, taking heroes to basically level 2 enhancement, like these yellow golden stars, that's a very efficient stopping point because it's the cheapest getting there. It becomes more expensive going beyond. However, getting level 4 on your key hypercarry, harding damages with a really good level 4 stat distribution like Frieren, definitely this is a priority. I think really out of all the heroes my viewer has, maybe I would have left Lily May at level 2. I personally, but Frieren definitely level 4 or as high as you can go with her is a major priority. So that is that. Now, Ravion, interesting that he went up here. Now, the thing about Ravion is he's more of a supportive role in the team. Again, he's not going to be the major damage contributor, generally speaking, although he is going to be a sub DPS in your PvP teams. So by increasing him and getting this bonus is mainly for boosting his own damage. And I don't know, I still think it's a good idea to get Ravion to level 2. Personally though, on my account, I haven't even upgraded Ravion to level 2 yet. Because I have a lot more priorities than other heroes. But like, yeah, I think Ravion is fine without this upgrade, but eventually you will want him level 2. Potentially maybe all the way even up to level 4. Also, by increasing his refinement, it is going to give him a bit more basic stats, a bit more starting attack, and that is going to provide a greater attack buff from his kit onto your targets in the rear of the battle. Yeah, damage boost, damage reduction as well. Yeah, so overall, I think basically what I'm trying to say is my viewers are doing a good job. But now let's talk about some other heroes, which, other people are thinking about upgrading or maybe even upgrading. Heroes like Bonnie. So I really want to talk about Bonnie because lately I've done testing with Bonnie and the dot comms, damage over time comms in PvP. And I just feel like they are lacking. They're a bit too slow, especially with the new nuking meta, whether it be Frieren hypercarry, Gwyneth hypercarry, Sylphira hypercarry. I know Sylphira's whale end, but like Gwyneth Frieren can be at the more mid-level. They're just way too fast. And also, it's easy to counter Bonnie by placing a Phantom in the back line that will just take the Bonnie debuff. So I really, even though Bonnie, if you use her in a dot comp and you're having success with it, you can refine the Bonnie. Because she's probably going to be the major damage contributor on your team if it's a damage over time team with Bonnie. However, I just feel like the meta is moving away from Bonnie, and over time, these teams are becoming weaker and weaker. They still are kind of like needed, especially for a mid-level, because there are not enough other hypercarries you would have built up, so you will still be running it. So basically, it will be up to you. If you have high investment Bonnie, if you're running her in PvP successfully, then yes, you can upgrade Bonnie's exclusive equipment. Level 2 is good. You can even take to level 4 if you want. Yeah. However, when you have Niru, Satrana, even Damon Ludovic, these are going to be the supportive role in a damage over time team. Even Hugin may be seeing some use if you're running a Siren or something like that. But all of these heroes take the supportive role, and that makes them the much lower priority to actually level up and then refine the exclusive equipment. This is something like basically I'm learning. I thought like, getting all heroes on your team up to level 2 would be better, but actually no, it's better to get your hyper carry or the main damage on your team level 4 and keep the other ones at level 0. Honestly, that's what it's seeming to me. And the supports, I used to think, oh, they have a really impactful level 2 skill, but unfortunately, it does seem to only proc one time on one ally. Only one ally will get the proc of this, not all allies. And so that makes it much weaker in my opinion. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from the testing I've done limited testing, like 1 hour of testing today, and that's what I was noticing. Again, it's really hard to actually see it, but like that seems to be what's happening. But yeah, so that is it. And Pandora, if you're using Pandora in PvP, that's totally fine. But again, don't need to refine it because these are all the supportive roles on your team. So this actually makes the job much simpler for you. You just pick your maybe 3 teams for Supreme Arena or 5 teams eventually for Supreme League. What is going to be the damage dealing hyper carry in that team? Frieren, Shemira 1 team, Perseus 1 team. Maybe Lily May will be with Perseus. Siren 1 team. Okay, you already have 4 teams accounted for. These are going to be your major DPS on the team. Upgrade their, refine their exclusive equipment. Level 2 kind of minimum, and level 4 on your most value hyper carries, and that's basically what you do. And then you leave your supports, you leave your tanks, and you can even potentially leave your rogues. But Ravion also a good option because they do contribute that damage. Marksman like Bonnie, if she's your key damage, you can refine that exclusive equipment. If you're using Sylvan damage comp, you can refine his exclusive equipment. And yeah, I mean, if you have Celestial Hypogeans upgraded to Paragon 2 or above, Contess, Gunnar, who are major Celestial like PvP powerhouses, Alna, you can take them to level 2. However, again, I think they really do fine. Yeah, I mean, level 2, yeah, but like, again, I think most people don't have these Celestial Hypogeans at Paragon, and that's fine. Because these heroes are going to be fine. They are fulfilling more of that supportive role. They're not the hyper carry DPS. So even though level 2 refinement would be nice on them, definitely a nice skill being unlocked, and some damage reduction from the rivalry stats, is not actually make or break for these heroes. Unlike it is for Sylphira. Like, this is the thing. If you're going to build Sylphira, you have to be a whale, because you want a Paragon 4 Sylphira, and you want to max refine that Sylphira, if you want to run it in PvP. Or like minimum Paragon 2 or something. But these other supportive tech options, Gunnar, Contess, Alna, Dunlinger, they're totally fine as Supreme, even Aliceth, they're totally fine as Supreme Plus, or even if they're Paragon upgraded, they're totally fine unrefined, they don't need to be refined. For example, for me, I don't have my Aliceth refined, I don't have my Mehira refined, I do have Alna and Dunlinger level 2 refinement, and I have Contess and Gunnar level 4. That's only because maybe I went a bit too hard into them, I don't think it was needed, but basically, just to demonstrate to you guys that these tech options for PvP, if you're running them as Celestial Hypogeans, they don't need to be necessarily refined. Because Aliceth and Mehira, they're like Marksman and Mage, and their refinement is going to boost their own damage, but they're mainly in the team as a tech option. They're not the major damage contributor in the team. So like refining them is not the most value as refining your actual top DPS. So again, that's basically it. All of the tips I have to share for your priorities. Hopefully this video is helpful and gives you some insight and idea, and also from a more mid-level, more free-to-play level standpoint. My viewer is not mid-level, he's VIP, he's not free-to-play, he's VIP 12, but that is a mid-level of spending, and this is something that at least you can relate to, rather than looking at my account and you're like, well, I have Gwyneth, level 4 refinement, Sylphira, level 4 refinement, and that is the other thing. If you're going to invest into Gwyneth, by the way, you guys you might want to know about that. Gwyneth is one of the top PvP hyper carries right now after like Frieren, but Gwyneth needs protection, whether it be Gunnar or Alna or something like that. But if you do support her, Gwyneth is an absolute monster and definitely a major priority for level 4 refinement, or as high as you can, along with Frieren. Those are the top 2, along with Sylphira, top 3. Those are really the top 2 hyper carries right now in the current meta. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it's helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's always interesting to hear about. And again, with time, we are learning. Like, for example, my first tier list that we did for Slumber Essence was pretty accurate. However, now I've kind of like refined my opinions, the actual value, and so for example, I'm more undervaluing and lowering the value of these supports and tanks, and overvaluing your hyper carry, major DPS of the team. Those go top priority, and your supports and your tanks lower priority, or your supportive rogues and supportive marksmen, mages, whatever, like Aliceth Mehira, they're supportive, so they go lower priority. So anyway, guys, that is gonna be it for this video. Hopefully it's helpful. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.